At this point, it's well documented just how well ice can be used to cool a CPU. As soon as ice comes in contact with the processor, its temperature begins to plummet, with the only major downside being that it creates liquid water, which does not mix nicely with computers. Which is exactly why we built this contraption right here. We had essentially made a giant Pez dispenser of ice in order to cool a CPU without the downsides of water getting on our components. As the ice melts, water is able to escape out this tube and can be collected in a little cup down here. And while this contraption does work at cooling our computer throughout an entire gaming session, there's one major issue. And that, of course, is once you run out of ice, well, it stops cooling altogether. So today, we're gonna try to fix that by creating the world's first ALL ICE AIO. And I really don't know if it's gonna work or not, so let's figure it out together. In a typical AIO, you have a pump here that pushes liquid through these tubes over to the radiator. And that process helps remove heat from the CPU, which this is attached to. But if we want to use frozen water instead of liquid water inside of our AIO, we're gonna have to add a few more components. The main one being, well, an ice maker, which seems like an essential piece. All right, this is a little bigger than I was anticipating. After all, we need a way to turn the melted water back into ice. And while up to this point, I've gotten all my ice directly from my freezer, we need a more mobile approach. And so the first challenge is figuring out how to attach this to our existing system. Danger, risk of fire or explosion. That's not what I want to happen. Problem solved. Okay, first we do need to understand how this ice maker actually works. I believe water is dripped onto these metal pipes which get really cold and then it freezes around them. And then this arm is used to knock off the ice into this container right here, which I think is the area that we're gonna be able to modify without interrupting all that jazz. I'm gonna do my best to disassemble this to see what exactly we're working with. Let's just get water. All right, so it turns out we have to pour water into the basin right here, up to this line that says max. And then if we go press on, so then it appears this cover comes up to pour water inside of, and then it freezes around these metal tubes. Oh, extra water pours down there. Okay, fair. We're learning. All right, just heard the refrigerant kick on. So now I'm assuming it's cooling it. So then we do have to add this basket back in order to catch the ice, which I think this is actually gonna be the piece that we're going to have to modify to work with our setup. Yep, that's pretty cold. Now the tricky part here is when this ice falls out, oh, that's already forming. That's so fast, that's awesome. The tricky part here is going to be making this funnel to catch the ice as it comes out and then like drop it out of the machine. We're gonna see if this works, and if it does, I'll probably 3D print something. But for this to work, I need to cut a giant hole through this chassis here. You can see there's a bit of insulation in here, which makes sense. I think it's just styrofoam though. I'm hoping this hole will be large enough for the ice to actually fall through. Let's give it just a little quick test. The hole is not fully complete, but let's see what happens to the ice. Falls off into this top section. I'm hoping it gets scooped out. Gets scooped out, oh, perfect, into our funnel. Now we just need to make sure that this hole is large enough so that it can actually fall out of the machine itself. And then we just need to place that machine up top here so that the ice falls into the tube. All right, let's turn this off. Don't want our funnel to get too wet in the meantime. Why am I dropping so much ice? I'm worried this hole isn't gonna be quite large enough, because while it might be able to fit like a single ice cube, I feel like it's gonna clog. I can already anticipate it clogging. Okay, we've successfully opened up the gap a little bit more. I'm still worried about clogging, so I'm gonna try to peel this piece down as much as I can, just to reduce the chances of any ice getting caught. All right, not bad. Now we need to carve a hole in this piece as well. Looks like I can just cut this one with scissors. Nice. Boom. Okay, cool. Let's see how that works. Now, small problem. When I was carving these holes, you can see a little bit of this plastic chipped a little farther down than I wanted it to. So we'll see how big of an issue that is when this is all flowing through each other. Might be an issue, I don't really know. Okay, so hypothetically now, when this ice drops down and gets pushed up this ramp, whoa. It kind of works. So now let's give it a test run. Instead of moving the ice machine way above the computer, let's just move the computer below the ice machine. Assuming all these cables have enough give. Dangling power supply, yeah, sure. Oh, never mind. It's almost perfect. I guess it needs to be a little taller. 1080 Ti box. We've been through a lot together. Just a few more experiments. All right, let's give this a test run, huh? Pour in a bit more water, tighten down the hatches. Ooh, feel like it was not making that noise before. Oh, also we forgot to put in the funnel. And now we wait at least like 5 or 6 minutes. Will the ice successfully funnel into our existing tubing, or will this be a complete failure? Let's find out. All right, moment of truth, moment of truth. The ice cubes are falling off in a little bit. All right, here they come. Ice cubes are off. Now when they get pushed over the ledge, will they actually fall into the tube? Now they're getting pushed. No, it got clogged. No, dang it. They're just a little too big, or the hole's a little too small. It's so close. That ought to do it. Okay, let's try this again with a much larger gap in the middle. Ice cubes getting scooped out. Oh, we got a couple of those. 2 or 3 of those definitely fell inside of our tubing, but at least one did not. And I'm pretty sure it landed, oh yeah, it landed right on our computer. That doesn't seem ideal, does it? We could just put like a shield on top of the motherboard, like an umbrella, so that nothing fell directly on top of it. Because you can see not every single piece even got out of the machine here. Okay, but it seems like this is plausible, which leads us to our next major hurdle. Because as you can see here, we're already getting the indication to add water. Because this machine, while it does produce ice, it doesn't magically create water out of nothing. And if we want to achieve the closed loop ecosystem that a normal AIO provides, well, we're going to have to find a way to connect this tubing here all the way up to this machine, effectively allowing the ice, once it's melted, to then travel back up to the ice machine. And honestly, the only way I can think of is using a pump. We could very well, oops, oh, that spilled water everywhere. This is not a good day to be an electronic component around me. I'm gonna make sure to clean this all up, oh my gosh. We could very well use a water cooling pump like this, but this one's actually broken. And so I've been thinking about trying to retrofit this little experiment right here. This, of course, is the pump from an AIO with the radiator completely cut off. And so liquid inside of here is just looping over and over again. What I'm thinking is that we can use this pump to move water and then attach our existing pipes to these right here. Although it's definitely gonna require some MacGyvering. So, I don't know. I'll report back in a second. Oh no. Jesus. MacGyvering indeed. That is very janky, but I hope it works. I'm actually not sure which one is an intake and which one's like an outlet, so we'll find out. Now, a main constraint here is going to be the distance that this pump can actually move water, because we're asking a lot out of this. I might need to cut down the height of this tubing. I probably should. Although we might as well give it a test run before we do that. There are so many things that can go wrong here. It's crazy. As long as we remember to plug in our pump into the motherboard, it should get enough power just to turn on as normal. Let's see if we can even turn on our PC still. I feel like a lot of water has fallen on it. I'm pretty sure water just went that way. Wait, which way does this flow? Trying to figure out which way the water is flowing. So I'll just go ahead and dump some water inside of here. Hopefully we have enough. Oh, I gotta get more water, okay. Okay, so if oh, water just dripped right on the computer. Oh my gosh. All right, so that didn't really work at all. So I'm gonna have to swap the sides of like the tubing. Maybe I just plugged it into the wrong ends of the AIO. Hopefully that's the case. This is kind of a mess. I have no idea what I'm doing. Okay, successfully swapped around. Let's try this again. Again, the goal is to have this pump push water up this tube all the way up to here, which might be asking too much of the little pump. Don't mind all the water right next to the computer. This should be fine. Famous last words. Ooh, okay. I mean, it's definitely leaking. That's not good. But I think we're at least in the correct direction now. We'll pour some more water to find out. Okay, it's leaking a lot. That's not good. But check it out. The water is climbing a little higher and a little higher. Okay, maybe it's stabilizing here. We found the correct sides of the pump to at least plug into. We've really got to solve this leaking problem though. Time to turn to our good old friend, epoxy. Surely there's like a non-permanent way to do this, but this is what I have at my disposal right now. As our epoxy dries, we can work on upgrading our ice funnel. This actually required way more iterations than I thought it would, but that's just because I kind of suck at modeling based off measurements, but I'm also awful at taking measurements, which is not a great combo. Oh, it's beautiful. I hope this doesn't block the ice from coming out. All right, our pump connectors are fully sealed. Let's do a quick dry run. Well, I guess a wet run to see if it can move water. Water in, pump plugged in, PC powered on. Hello. Does it really need more water? Okay, it's flowing. Water is actively flowing out of our tube. Is it pushing it out over here? I mean, I can hear it running. Oh my gosh, it's actually working. The pump is pumping water. It did need to like get kickstarted though, which is a little interesting. Not sure how that's gonna equate into everything, but this is a good sign. We've also gone ahead and added a 3D printed kind of like funnel here into the ice maker. So ideally when the ice falls down and gets pushed up, it falls down this slot and then into right here, which will attach to the top of that tube. But now I think we need to figure out what the ideal height of this ICE AIO should actually be. Because right now I do think it's a bit too tall. Now in our previous experiment, we found out that if we fill ice up to this line right here, it'll actually last the cooling our computer for around 30 minutes. But as we know, this can produce ice every like 10 minutes, 6 to 10 minutes. So I feel like we don't need it to be that tall. Although I am basing this off of like napkin math, which very well might be incorrect. Let's do some cutting though. I'm thinking about cutting the height in half, so it'll last around 15 minutes. And on paper should give the ice maker plenty of time to catch up. All right, let's not cut this right above the computer. It's gonna make a mess. Perfect. Wow. Now we have a much smaller tube to hold all of our ice. Hopefully it's not too small. The question is gonna be whether this can produce ice fast enough and at a high enough quantity to keep this full before the CPU, well, like melts it all. We won't really know that until we test it though. So let's test it. At this point, I've also decided to add this aluminum block as a way to lift up our contraption here because I was realizing that this cup wasn't actually fully setting against the CPU. And we want the contact to be as good as possible. So hopefully this should do the job. And honestly, should help our system even more because the aluminum will be able to retain some heat. Think of it as like a battery backup bank. Might give the cooler a bit more time to breathe. I guess one of our seals did break a tiny bit. You can see a little bit of water is escaping from our tubing here. All right, I'm gonna have to add a little bit more epoxy on this side. Hopefully that'll give it all just a little bit more protection against leaks. In the meantime, we can try to set up our ice maker on top of this setup so that it actually, like fits together. We're gonna make like a stand for this. Man, if like trying to make a custom loop wasn't bad enough, trying to do it with ice is seemingly a lot tougher, huh? I think that actually has a chance. Just epoxied my hand. Cool. Our ice maker, I feel like is at a perfect height in order to drop ice into the tube, which then lands inside of this measuring cup, which then cools the aluminum block, which then cools our CPU. And then when the ice melts, the water could drain out of this tube, go into the pump, and ideally get pushed up into here. But we need to figure out that piece, because right now the tube is going into this brisk bottle. I really hope we have the height of this correct. Now, all I have to do is drop this tube back into the ice maker, I'm pretty sure. Because the basin inside of there, which right now is kind of full of debris, that's where this gets water from that then fills up this top area. I'm a little worried about the pump having to get this high, but here, I'll be a little conservative and cut up here. Hypothetically, that's it. Oh, I'm so nervous to test this. I really hope it works. All right, we need to wait for the epoxy to cure and then we'll test it, okay? Okay, I have no patience. Let's do a test run. I'm gonna start by filling this entirely up with ice, just to give it like, ideal sort of conditions. That'll mean the ice maker doesn't have to work quite as quickly. It's not starting from scratch, basically. I'm also going to fill up the basin with much water as I can to give it some additional fuel, I suppose. I do it to make sure I don't overfill, because I did cut this hole probably a little lower than I had to. All right, let's give this a shot. Can an all ice AIO actually work to cool a CPU? I don't know, let's find out. All right, we'll start by turning this on. And so now that top area should be filling with water, perfect. At the same time, we are going to turn on our power supply. We are going to short out our power pins. And we are going to hope and pray that this setup works. Oh my gosh, wait, it's actually pumping water. Oh my gosh. The computer's up and running. Can't tell how much we're leaking. We are leaking a little bit. My impatience is definitely causing a little bit of water to continue leaking out of one of these tubes. Another challenge that we may face is that when the pump doesn't have enough water, it kind of just gets stuck like halfway up the tubing, which makes sense if it doesn't have anything else to like push up it. And I haven't really taken that into account. In a typical AIO, it always has water running through it. Whereas this one will only have enough water once enough ice melts. Oh, amazing. We have a signal. Okay, let's heat up this CPU so we can start melting all of this ice before we leak it all. Oh no, I just realized all the USB ports are covered up by our pump. Oh no, I really don't want to move it. Oh, what do we do? Okay, these ones maybe are accessible for very gentle. Okay, that's a mouse. All right, I think we're all set. Let's go ahead and run a pressure test on this CPU. Ice machine is still kicking. We're waiting on our first batch. Our pump, whenever it gets water, is slowly pushing it up, and now our computer is functioning. Let's run a test. I'm also curious what the CPU temperature actually is right now. 19 degrees Celsius. That's so good. Oh my gosh. That's such a fantastic temperature. Oh my gosh. This right now is proving that having ice over top your CPU is 100% keeping it cool. But this of course is with no load. So let's increase this to 100% load, just like that. Now, ideally we should see this temperature kick up as we do. Just like that. Ooh, okay, the pump is also kicking up. That means ice is already melting. You can see here that our usage is now at 100%. Okay, oh, I'm so curious. I'm so nervous, honestly. If this temperature ever gets to the 80s or 90s, this experiment will have failed. Wait, what just happened? Oh, okay, the first ice is coming through. Oh, I hope it works. Come on. Oh no, it all got caught. Well, actually, a little bit came through. Okay. We might have to make a small adjustment here. Honestly, I think part of the issue right now is that like the tube is just so full of ice. This ice doesn't have anywhere to drop down. So I think we will just have to wait for this ice to melt in order for more ice to come in. Our ice machine might actually produce ice faster than this PC melts ice. That's crazy. There also is a bit of a bottleneck here. I wonder if that'll be consistent or not. Otherwise, we might have to redesign our little like funnel here. So far, this is working so well though. Oh my gosh. I'm just gonna leave this running for like, I don't know, 10, 20 minutes to see what happens. Okay, we have a new problem. I think this is blocking the ice from coming out. It's gonna try again. No, I think we're gonna have to redesign our funnel. Other than that though, the rest of the system is working fantastic. This setup is keeping our CPU cool under 100% load at like low 50s, which is wild. All right, let's try designing this one more time. I'm honestly gonna see if we can just make these edges as thin as possible. Maybe that'll work. While that takes a moment to print, we can use this time to upgrade our box stand. And by upgrade, I mean lightly cover with a little bit of paint so it looks a little more inconspicuous. Very nice. And now, with like the 700th iteration of our funnel finally printed out. All right, I think it's time we test this thing out for realsies. Now, last time we did also have the issue of ice kind of clogging right at this bottleneck, because when this produces 8 different cubes, they all kind of just get stuck, you know, right in here. I think I have a potential solution with, which is just reducing the amount of ice cubes that this is able to produce. I think if we just wrap this in tape so that the ice doesn't actually stick to the metal, I feel like that might work. But it's also gonna reduce the number of ice that it produces, which might impact the overall cooling of this. We'll give that a shot by just reducing it from 8 to 6. And hopefully that'll reduce the number of bottlenecks. But okay, with our ice maker, I guess modified, our funnel secured in place, our tubing ready to collect our ice, and our pump ready to move water back up to our ice maker, I think it's time to see how well our ALL ICE AIO can help cool our computer as we play some video games. We are gonna start by just adding a handful of ice cubes, not as many as last time though. Then we're also going to start our ice maker, and we will add a little bit of water inside of there to begin as well. So now, if we boot up our machine, on paper we should see our water rise, which it is. So now that tub is getting filled up. Oh, that's fantastic. Oh my gosh, it's actually working. Okay, so the water is draining from our tubes. Now the ice is at the very bottom. Our ice machine should be able to run now. Make sure to select small. Our computer is posting and now water is filling into the ice machine's cavity, which means everything is currently set into motion. Let's play some video games. I'm super curious to see how long this will actually keep the computer cold, because the goal is forever. If it works the way we drew it up, we should be able to constantly be able to produce ice to then cool our CPU and then move that water back up to make more ice. Obviously, we will lose some water in the process. Maybe, right? Probably. We're currently sitting at 29 degrees Celsius. So far, so good. The ice is doing its job for the time being. Oh, we got some ice down there. I'm not sure why this one did not go farther, but I have a feeling as it starts to melt, it will actually go down. Maybe I have to lubricate up this little ramp here. Our ramp is not ramped enough. Oh no. All right, we gotta increase the angle of this, I believe. I think the easiest way is just gonna be to increase the height of where this is sitting. So I'm just gonna add a little hard drive and put it underneath it. Although the ice still does not want to slide all the way down. Maybe we have to make this more slippery. Oh, that could be an issue too. You know, we'll add a second hard drive of height. Let's make it impossible for the ice not to fall downwards. A bit steeper now. Hopefully the ice will actually fall down. All right, fingers crossed. Oh my gosh, it actually worked. All that ice just got dumped right into our tube. It worked. Oh my gosh. And now the water's actively draining out of the bottom, refilling the tank, and now it's just gonna run again and again. I can't believe that worked, no way. We are in business. Our computer is sitting at a very cool 33 degrees Celsius. Our ice machine is kicking. Our pump is moving the melted ice back up to the machine. Let's run some video games. How funny would it be to fill out a Valve hardware survey right now? We could say we're using the very first All Ice AIO. And it's actually working like a charm. But let's put it to the actual test. I'm actually so thrilled that worked. Oh my gosh. We'll start simple by playing some Infinite Sweeper. It's like a Minesweeper game. Oh baby, here we go. So far, so good. We are playing video games with nothing but ice and a pump and an ice machine cooling our PC. Boss round. All right, let's go. Yay, we did it. All right, I mean, granted, this is not the most graphically intensive game that the world's ever seen, but we are chilling at like 42 degrees Celsius after playing this for a little bit now. That is a very consistent line, which is exactly what we want. We don't want to see anything increasing or decreasing too much. That means this is actually fairly stable. That's so cool. Oh my gosh. Dude, I'm obsessed with this. I actually think our ice maker is making ice way faster than we're melting it. It seems like every 5 or 6 minutes we're getting, let's see, maybe like 2 or 3 inches worth of ice. And because we're not melting it fast enough, like right now we're chilling at 45 degrees, we are not melting all that much ice with that. We're gonna max out on ice before we melt it. I think that means we need to increase the pressure on our CPU, don't you? Maybe Minesweeper is not the game to do that. So let's try to play a different game. Okay, I just barely have enough space for Counter-Strike 2. Let's install that and give that a whirl on our ice PC. All right, so that's also a challenge. We need to make sure that we're set to the small size of ice cubes, or else they definitely will get jammed right at the bottom. Just another caveat to make this ice PC work. Oh my gosh, that was perfect. That's so cool. Okay, let's finally play some real video games on here. Oh, I'm so excited for this. Oh my gosh. All right, the ice machine works. Our PC handling this game is a totally different question. We are running off integrated graphics on this workbench, which is not fantastic. But we are able to play, which is what we need to test. If we even get a single kill, I'm going to be ecstatic. No, that was so close. I had to turn down all the settings. Right now we're sitting at 61 degrees Celsius and 100% CPU load, but we are not thermal throttling thanks to our tower of ice. But we can't get a kill. Okay, come on. Oh no, come on, come on. No, that was our shot. No. Oh my gosh. Okay, who killed that guy? Oh, we got one, yes. Oh no, okay. Hey, we'll take it. He was AFK, but it counts. We are creeping up a little bit. We're at 63 degrees now. Still very, very reasonable. This computer's definitely struggling to run this game, but that's not the cooler's fault. That's a hardware issue if I've ever seen one. Can I get the chicken? Yeah, we got the chicken. Oh, and we got payback. All right, hey, you know what? Our computer survived an entire game of CS2 on our Workbench PC, being cooled by ice. The max temperature we got to was 66 degrees Celsius. And for running a game with 100% CPU load, that's not bad at all. All right, I'm definitely gonna play another one. That was fun. Let's see if we can improve our standing. Time to lock in. This setup is not benefiting me. Oh, we got one, let's go. Every once in a while, this will happen. So there are still some bugs in the system. But honestly, this is working so much more fantastic than I anticipated. The fact that it has created an infinite loop of ice cooling our computer is just so fantastic. That said, it's not like it's without issues though. You know, like there are downsides to using this, believe it or not. The first I will say is the amount of noise that this setup creates. I'm assuming you can hear this, but the ice maker machine does create quite a bit of noise just through the refrigerant process. And it does actually blow quite a bit of hot air over here as well. Leading to the second main issue, which is that it's really inefficient for cooling. But that said, it is actually cooling, which is fascinating. I'm a little worried about the pump itself too, because it's constantly running, despite the fact that sometimes there's just no liquid coming into it. I can't imagine that's great for the lifespan of the pump itself. Without consistent internal resistances, I could see this breaking down like a lot sooner than if it did have resistance continuously. And aside from that, it is also creating quite a bit of noise just by running constantly. That said, the biggest issue, which I was not anticipating, is none of those things. All of this does work together really nicely to cool our computer, even when playing video games. The main issue is, well, we're actually producing more ice than we're getting rid of. Our ice machine is faster at making ice than our computer is at melting it, which was not something I was anticipating at all. I thought we were gonna have the exact opposite problem. I was actually thinking we might need 2 ice machines to make enough ice to keep our CPU cool, but that's not the case. Imagine a world where our CPU not being hot enough is our issue. That's crazy. This has been a really fun experiment for me, and I hope you've enjoyed following along the process, because the fact it works at all is really cool to me. With that, let me know if you have any other suggestions of what we should do to improve this even further. But until then, I've been Mr. Easter, your tech tinkerer, and I'll catch you in the next one. Aw, yeah.